Okay, so there we go. We had some glitch in between. I had to come again on the YouTube live. So we're going to quickly start the recording button and then we will quickly skim through what we have gone
Okay,
through
so there
already
we
in the
go.
few minutes.
We had some glitch
Oops.
in between. I
Okay, I'm going to unmute that and then start with our presentation again. Okay, just going to give a short intro because it has to go recorded. So thank you for once again coming in and welcome to Unlocking EQ Mastery, EQ Emotional Intelligence through Brain Skills. It's a mini guide for busy moms out there. And today we are on day 24. So this series is dedicated to people like you and me, where as a working mother, we juggle with multiple responsibilities. At the same time, it is important to address 21st century skills, not just for a school going kid. It is equally important for an adult to understand how we are driven by emotions, uh, uh, you know impulsive decision making outside, because it is one after the social media has taken over, and after the AI has disrupted many industries, these both are actually riding our life, right, in all aspects. So it is equally important use the technology to our advantages, and at the same time be aware of its overkill happening there. And because of that, the consequences is huge, and it is widely spreaded in any industries, be it school, um, you know, doesn't matter what age group you are in, gender or location, wherever you are, emotional intelligence as a skill, it is needed for this 21st century era, because emotions are erupting everywhere, and people are getting disconnected. Although the social media is there for them to connect, but they are hugely disconnected in a deeper level. There are no true conversations happening. People don't have patience and tolerance against each other, whether they are kid, parent, or working person outside, or even a stranger. So we hardly look at each other's face and say hi, hello. We don't have time. So we're on the chase, on the heat of run, we're missing a lot of values, a lot of human qualities. And emotional intelligence doesn't only talk about that divine or the human qualities, it also talks about the brain talents, which essentially helps us to be in our 100% potential. Every time we operate using your left brain and right brain, the midbrain, actually. So we are essentially targeting emotional intelligence using the brain talents, because all of us have brain. So it is very concrete. So the theory that emotional intelligence, that subject, I'm not going to be talking about theory, something happening in some other world. It is in us, because where are emotions? It is in us, right? It is in me, in you. Even a small child has emotion. Even an old person who are in the verge of dying, they also have emotions. So everybody emote constantly, right? Even a memory, amnesia person has to have feelings. Maybe their memory could be problematic there, but then they do have feelings. So it is essential that whenever we are not in isolation, unlike the pandemic times. Although there are other pandemic lined up, that is not demanding for us to be alone. It is while we are living, and even when you are alone, you have your own emotions going on. So you need to take that control. First of all, you need to be aware of what's going on inside. You need to be literate about your own emotions, so that you'll be able to read the same in others. And at the same time, you should be able to manage it. If you lose the control of it, you're going to be impulsive. You're going to be reactive, and people around you cannot expect, they do not know what to expect, and even you cannot know what to expect from you. So that is a disastrous phase. And then what if you're able to be aware and manage your emotions really well? Then you can channelize that into higher needs, right? Maybe the survival is taken care. Then always the human have this capacity to grow higher and higher. Only then those fulfillment needs, you know the higher self of fulfillment needs comes in place. Otherwise, we will only lead a mundane life, and then we may die only transacting the regular transactions in life. So, you getting into an adventure, or getting a thrill of life, or being lively, being present every moment, may not be there. For I'm not saying all these are skyrocket. People out there, there are emotional intelligence is existing in us and people around us also. You don't require, you don't necessarily need some, case study to happen here. That is why I always says, if I've been watching this, series from the day one, I always says emotional intelligence is not a research paper. It is not the subject which is unknown, maybe which is not tapped in yet, or maybe it is forgotten, but the wisdom is lying within us. Whether you are a student watching this, or after 10 years, you may be a young adult, emotional intelligence matters irrespective of any age, any aspects of life. For even for a school kid who's in the elementary level school, they also need to know and express their emotions. It is by far large, it is important to have the studies, have this learning right from the school time. We have missed it big time. In our school, when I'm an 80 born, so forget about the previous generation. I mean, they were told not to emote. Women at least they can emote, but in a very restricted manner, and we cannot express, boldly and outwardly. Right now, times are changing, but the men, they just cannot emote because their quality wise, they've been bred like that, right? They're culturally brought up that way. They're professionally brought up that way, and they assume the characteristics of a man itself is that way. But they do. There are men who is expressive. There are women who are expressive. So we just have to learn. I am learning from my kid, right? Kids are naturally expressive. It's just that out of their environment or habits, they just don't open up. But when given a conducive environment, all kids open up and all adults also open up. So it is up to us. We learn it and we are able to express and we teach the same thing for people around us. And we learn from people who are, we should admire people who have this capacity, not just in expressing emotions. Now, with that emotions, how are they able to communicate well? How are they able to decide well in their life? And how do they inspire others? So these are something that we have to take a note of it. Suppose they are able to express well and cannot take decisions for their life, either for themselves or for others in life, then it's not a classic example. Suppose they are very good at expressing and they are okay with their life, they are decently well. But if they want to grow, they need to embrace other people also around them. That is where the leadership ability comes. And for all leaders, naturally, all leaders, I'm saying natural leaders are people who may not exactly working in an organization, but they also have the leadership abilities. They can inspire people. They can communicate really well. They can express what their lives and likes and dislikes. They can dream and they can be visionary. Even a stay-at-home mom does all this. They're pretty clear. They're proactive. They're planning. They have that emotional insight. They exactly know the moms out there. My mom, my aunt, my people around us. They exactly know what is their family needs, the likes and dislikes, their patterns. Every move, the mother knows it. Oh, how is it possible for that woman? Um, you know, they may be undervalued, actually. They may not be in the scene, the front and play, but they are the central focal point of their family. They hold the family emotionally. So that level of insight is available with them. They are very agile, not just physically, but also emotionally, and they bounce back very quickly. So I recommend you to go through the previous episodes where we have spoken about resilience skills as a parent, as a leadership, as an entrepreneur, and about emotional agility, how you can gain emotional insights, and how can you be proactive? How can you apply critical thinking? How can you problem solve? And today we are in the mode of taking you from procrastination to action. One of the critical and very much needed topic, right, for all of us, right? So that is why I thought, even though there was a glitch in the previous, streamline, so I make sure that I live stream again so that it gets recorded also. So I would highly recommend you to subscribe to this YouTube channel so that whenever I come live or whenever I create a video, you get notified and reminded. And thereby you can expand learning about emotional intelligence through brain skills and in a very storified format also. Okay. I'm also writing blogs where I'm teaching emotional intelligence. I'm imparting the knowledge on emotional intelligence for an Indian mom in an Indian home setup. So um, emotional intelligence again is not just specific to Indian moms or not just specific to adult. it is needed for all age group. So if you are one who can relate it, because I am from that kind of a culture, and my heart goes to those people, especially who are outside India, and Indians who are outside India, I know they need that kind of emotional resilience in them, because while they are juggling so many responsibility themselves, especially being outside their country, they lack support. They lack physical support, emotional support, and they need it more. In order to, I'm not saying rest of the moms doesn't need. That is why I'm doing a podcast also, where it's given out there for public. Anybody who's watching or listening to my podcast, watching YouTube here and listening to my podcast, it goes to everybody. And then the Substack, I'm bringing articles in an Indian format. How it happens in an Indian homes. Again, that is a skill. So you can just read it as a story and apply. The whole aim is to make you relate and then be able to apply it. Okay. So having said this, today what we are going to see is how your brain talents, this entire series is about brain talents, how you're enabling your left brain and right brain to blend both the logic and emotion brain to help you make a smarter decisions. Because when you take a smart decisions, that means you're emotionally intelligent. And for you to be emotionally intelligent, you need to be operating in the midbrain. Neither too left driven nor too right driven. That is too logical, neither too emotional, being impulsive, and not all the time you can take risk. You can just be firefighting, right? You have to think through also before you get into any problem solving. So these both brain has to help you, enable you to get into a effective choice making. Ultimately, in the life, it is all up to the choices you make. What determines your quality of life is the choices that you make. So we are driving to help you become a great decision maker and also be emotionally intelligent at all times, not just for your decisions, also having a quality of life. And how do you want to bounce back from your setbacks? And how do you want to be connected with people deeper and wider? Right? How do you communicate well? And how can you inspire? And how can you get along with people and embrace them also in your journey? Right? Just by taking decision is not going to keep you in the same place. You got to take decisions for others and be able to impart the same thing and embrace them in your journey. That is when you are naturally a leader. So that being said, we are not talking rocket science, something beyond our understanding. It is all well within us. It's just that we don't have that awareness. And in this series, I'm trying to impart that awareness to you and tap those power already as a strength lying in you, or they could be areas of improvement for you. But if only you know the distinction, and if only you're able to apply these insights, right? So we will target emotional intelligence, or we will impart emotional intelligence via talking about your left brain and right brain. So for each and every talent that we will be talking in this 100 days, we have just not yet hit the quarter of it also. So tomorrow will be the day 25. So we will be going deeper and wider in a particular talent or a skill in order to address a parent, a career woman, or an entrepreneur juggling with multiple roles, or a leader, or a student. So a lot of examples that I will give so that you can relate. Maybe you're a student now, you'll become a young adult by the time you want to watch this after 5 years or even after 10 years. It's going to be evergreen because we are talking about the principles of your brain talents and principles of emotional intelligence. Okay, without much delay, I'm going to share my screen keynote. Just let me know if you can see and hear me out. I, as usual, ask, am I audible, visible to my people who are online? Let me know if you're online. Give me a smiley. That being said, I'm just opening my presentation, and today being day 24, we are on the title of learning about procrastination. How do you go from procrastination to action? Thereby, learning how do we define using brain skills, brain talents, and um, how does this going to have an effect of you learning to build a skill or a talent? So we will have a particular format in case you've been watching this series, by now you know there are 6 steps that we will follow the format. One is defining any particular talent we are talking in terms of how it is left brain treated and how it is right brain manifested. And then what are the pros and cons? So the golden nugget in the series that you will get is when we are practicing any skill, when we are trying to develop any skill or a talent, most of most of them we will only tell you, if you do this, you'll get, and if you don't do this, you'll not get. Okay. But since we are talking about a brain talent, and brain is an organ in the biological organ, and it is also neurologically developed organ. So which means we're talking about learning, unlearning, learning, and relearning, which takes time to rewire because we are hardwired based on our patterns. So for you to rewire on something which you have already learned it so tight, you got to give enough data for your brain, and you got to give enough time for it to rewire the way you want. Okay. So let's get into data about it using logic and emotions. So we will find out what is the overdo side of it. Suppose you overkill on a particular talent while you're exercising that muscle every day by giving enough data point and practice. You shouldn't overdo also because emotional intelligence is not a destination. It is not a mastery. All of us should be functionally well, neither going extreme nor undervaluing. You should be in the middle. Only when you're functional, using your left brain and right brain logically and emotionally really well, you can, switch the flip the switch whenever you want to, right? Because suppose you're dealing with your team at office and you're supposed to conduct a presentation. Would you go by emotions over there, or would you go by picking up logic, like facts, figures, past trends, the growth of the company, and where do you want to go? So you will assess all that risk and potentialities over there, or would you go impulsively, taking in consideration of the mood? Of course, you will have to back up the data because you need to understand whether the people are aligned. Suppose there is a mistrust, there is a lack of trust in the room. Whatever logic you present is not going to effectively land. At the same time, somebody is feeling, let's say the thermostat in the room is very hot. So people cannot focus. It could be as simple as that. You need to take into consideration of both. But you need to be driven by either logic or emotionally in the front, depending on your situation. But how can you just like that, flip it unless you're, unless you're in the middle? Suppose you're very extremely emotionally driven, you are like too much of an empath. For you to blend taking logical steps, do you even know that your facts and figures are even talking for you? If you cannot make them talk, there will be people with different brain styles in the room. They cannot get convinced. So you will not arrive into a consensus at all. It will become an endless topics. At the same time, if you cannot have an insight about the emotions of people involved in it, you may not be able to address that issues. It will definitely explode. May not be, maybe you're very good at presentation. You know, you can, conduct a kick-ass meeting. But then if they're not inspired, if there is a lack of trust, or if they're not motivated, you may not find them stable. So it will definitely have a loop. So it is important to have that distinctions. Now, in this series, especially in this topic, what we will do is how to beat procrastination, and be able to move from there. By the time you will know the pros and cons and overkill factor of it so that you don't overdo on it, then we will also see the strategies. That is where we will discuss as to how to move you from this place to another. So with this actionable strategies, you can derive whether it is left brain and right brain. Accordingly, you apply that. And then we will also, for your inspiration, we will also see who are those personalities who are already using this. And then it could be an inspiration for you that you're not alone, neither in this problem, nor can you just ignore because there are people who are already successful in this. So we might as well want to make use of this, right? And essentially, we will have tools and gifts for you. If you just hold on, wait till the episode gets over, you will know what are the gifts for you to learn and then also implement. Okay. So the first step is to define the skill set or talent here. How are we defining is left brain and right brain. Now you know procrastination as a problem. Okay. Let's see how it is affected in your left brain and right brain. What are the effects of it? So the left brain role is to give you the logic and planning, but it only favors the immediate gratification and can only resist tasks requiring that kind of effort, which means the reason why people stuck in planning only and not able to take action is because there could be fear attached to it, anxiety attached to it, some insecurity. And also mainly because the rewards are not immediate. Okay. So to the left brain, there should always be a reward. But if it is going to be instantly given, then there is a flaw. Suppose that instant gratification is not coming all the time, then the person who's planning will dwell on it more and more. Then it becomes autopilot. They won't get satisfied even if there is an emotional data available. So that level of tricky is our patterns. So we need to consider both. And now what happens in your right brain? Conversely, the right brain is the link towards your creativity and emotion processing, both within yourself and with others. So that is going to fuel your procrastination by creating anxiety, fears, and feelings of overwhelm. So the more that person is only planning, what is going to happen? They're going to lose the track of time and opportunity sometimes. So it'll first is guilt. Next one is anxious because they are time pressed, they're time crunched. So they have to act, their efficiency will be doubled, expectations will be doubled. So they are anxious about it. And sometimes fear of failure, maybe with doing all this at the same time, can overwhelm an exhaust person and they may not be able to focus and they may not get it correctly. So with that experience, the next time they have the fear to act on it. Remember always, for you to move from procrastination to action, there are 2 points. One is planning and action. Without problem solving or taking action, there is no movement, there is no transition, there is no progress. And the person is not moving, maybe because their experiences, previous experiences, still haunting them. Now, where did this all start? The more you dwell on one side. Suppose you are on the right side only. Okay, the more you dwell on right side, what's going to happen? You may be a person who is impulsively taking action only, not able to think through, plan ahead. You don't anticipate problems. You remember the previous episodes, 2, 3 episodes, starting recently yesterday and day before, and the previous day, we were talking about proactivity in depth. Please go and watch that. You'll be able to understand how, systematically we are arriving into every skill and talent here. So without that proactiveness in terms of planning ahead, without that, if you are, constantly firefighting, constantly taking action, you do not know the outcome, you're not able to see the distinction whether it is progressing or it is stagnating. You simply act on it because life throws at you. Or you may be a person who was like that, impulsively take actions without thinking through your budget or the effect of people in it, or it has its own effect on you physically, emotionally, mentally. So without thinking through, if you're able to only take action, that is also going to exhaust you. That will also become a pattern where, by the time you want to take action again, you will fear because your own actions is a fear factor. Why? Because you've not considered the logic behind it. You've not thought through the time, money, resources, results, effects. So it is very important to take the blend of both, right? So that is why it is a loop. And I also want you to understand procrastination definition is delaying tasks even when knowing it has consequences. So it's common human experience only affecting various aspects of life. So you are not the only one. A lot of people have this habit, but it is delaying task intentionally, meaning not intentionally, at least knowing. They know it's going to be affecting them, but they're still okay, maybe because of what? That is what we just saw. Maybe the person who's planning, they are they are just sitting on facts and figures. I mean, planning only. They're not taking action. They're not tolerant towards that. And this side, when people are taking action, why are they still not, progressing? Because they're not planning ahead. Either which ways, these both parties will get delayed in achieving their task, and the opportunities will be gone. And they know the effect of it because the more they do these both, stagnation, both the sides stagnation, they will be a serial procrastinator. Then it'll be very difficult for them to bounce back. They are in their comfort zone long lost. Understanding procrastination versus actions. What do you need is procrastination or action? Because procrastination is what? Delaying on important tasks, often replacing them with less meaningful activities. That is why this person is not able to take action. Now, this action person take immediate steps towards their priority goals, turning thoughts into tangible results, right? But that doesn't mean they don't think through. They have a goal, and goal comes with smart, the smart goals, right? Specific, measurable, actionable, relatable, and realistic and time bound. Only with that kind of a goal, just because you want to go there, you just cannot take action. You need to have thought through, okay, what amount of specificity is there? You want to lose weight and you're taking action, but you're still not able to see the results. And then what happens? You will assume that it's not working, you will delay it. But you have a specific goal, okay, daily 20 minutes, I will only do cardio, or I will do alternate cardio and strengthening for 20 minutes every day. This is measurable, this is attainable, realistic, and specific enough. Then you can understand the progress behind it. You will know whether it is serving you or not. Maybe you want to do a diet plan in it, or you want to increase the time. Those things will come to you as you go by. But at least you're taking action. The progress is already there. You're gaining the momentum. You're not going to pull back. But without the specification, you're like vague. Working on what? Naturally, you'll be pulled back. There'll be no motivation. There'll be no clarity, first of all. Right? Now, benefits of overcoming procrastinations. So you know the importance of it. You have to be an action taker. What could be the benefits of overcoming that way? You're going to increase your productivity because you're accomplishing more and meeting your goals faster by taking immediate action. You're going to reduce your stress. Acting on tasks reduces anxiety. Remember these keywords. Acting on it reduces anxiety. Thinking on it increases anxiety. Overthinking on it increases anxiety. So that is going to cause by looming deadlines. And then it is going to improve confidence because completing tasks builds self-confidence, creating positive momentum. In the previous episode we spoke, it is not getting perfect. It is progressing. Because we spoke, perfectionism is myth. Progress is real. So somebody is taking action, they are progressing. But towards what is something we have to really think through and plan. Challenge is what happens, why the person is not able to take action. One challenges of overcoming procrastination is even if you're trying to, act on it from moving from procrastination to action, there could be still be roadblocks, right? You're ready, you're willing, you're progressing, but there are still blocks. What are those blocks? One, risk of overcommitment. Acting quickly without planning can lead you to take on too much also. You remember, right? Impulsive action doesn't hold ground. You need impulsive action sometimes. You need to take risk, but there should be it's not an impulsive action. It is an intentional action because there is a thought through in it. It is thoughtful and it is goal based and it is planned ahead, being aware of the pitfalls. Then it is intentional. So that won't leave you with much residue. It'll help you bounce back only because you're very clear. You can see the failures as learning, and because you're tracking your progress anyway. And then there is also emotional resistance. Overcoming procrastinations can be very difficult, especially if linked with fear or, especially with perfectionism. A person, I just told you, suppose you have your own experiences, you look at your own trends to understand maybe in the past, maybe dwelling on more of planning or oversight of time and opportunities, you may have missed many opportunities and something would have gone wrong. So by the time you're working on the same pattern, not changing or adapting or reviewing, you're not, you know, if you're working on the same modality every time expecting a different result, it is not going to happen. So because of this, what is happening? The right side brain is actually watching. So it is taking data. Oh, okay. So now this is giving me stress. So let me go to the comfort zone. Now there's a failure again. So I don't want to do that. So all these data are getting piled up. Your own experiences is actually making you fear of that. You need to break that resistance. And how we are going to do is something that we will see just in a bit when we are talking about actionable strategies. And most importantly, perfectionism. Even if I tell you any actionable strategies for a perfectionist, it is only mindset game. You need to break that emotional resistance in you, right? Even if somebody shows them results, hey, you know what? Take this action. It, it is enough for planning. Take this action because you will reach your golden egg. Then that person is still not taking action because they want to make sure that when they reach the golden egg, it is perfect. That's not how things work all the time. You may be lucky in some days, but you just cannot be lucky every other day. So perfectionism is a killer, is a overkill, actually. So come out of it, and it is purely emotional resistance, right? Initial discomfort. Because of this, people don't take action. The moment there is a change, there is a discomfort, and they don't want to put their hands on it. If you don't keep your hands and legs on dirt, if you don't allow that discomfort to happen, you really cannot taste the waters, right? So the first steps may feel challenging and uncomfortable, but it is how you bounce back. That is why we touched upon resilience, um, critical thinking, proactivity, and all that, so that you don't get into that loop of, getting into the failure mode or anxious mode, that resistance mode. It's very tricky with brain, and it picks up data like that. And it is very tough for adults after you hardwired. It's tough for you to let go, be able to unlearn and relearn. Very tough. It requires a lot of um, breaking down to break through. A lot of work. So the importance of stopping procrastination. Why do we need to stop being procrastinating? One, of course, you miss the opportunities because it is, vital to be on top of the game. Upbeat, get yourself upbeated. Upgrade your system. Whether you're a school student or a young adult looking for career, college admissions and career advancement, or you're a parent, whether you're a stay-at-home mom, career woman juggling with multiple responsibilities, or a dad who's build family and forerunner, and as well as the leader, holding a high-stake profession, it is equally important. Okay, and stagnation can kick in any time. You know why? Because the methods, the mode of getting stagnated is very easily available, especially using mobile phone. Anybody is bound to procrastinate because they lose the track of time. The doom scrolling actually rottens the brain. It takes the focus out of us. It drains our energy, and we ultimately lose time. And when the time is lost, the downward spiral. First is guilt, and uh, you know um, next one is understanding they miss the opportunity. They are time crunched, so they're getting anxious, and then the fear, and then the depression. In fact, before that will be exhaustion, because not all the time you can work on the last minute work because it will get piled up. The reason because you lost the time. So everything is a downward spiral, and it has connection to everything. So it, and again, limited growth. A progress only can happen, right? But you have to allow it to happen. And for progress, what do you need? Time, consistency, daily attention, focus to it. You have to put your intention to it. So simply losing time is the first killer. And there are tools easily available for you to kill your time. So think about those factors, have the distinctions, and be aware of it. So benefits of taking action is what? One, you can achieve your goal. By taking actions, you're progressing toward your goal. It is going to reduce your reduction of stress, and you're going to have a productivity because you're building your momentum. Naturally, you can take in task more clearly and more responsibly. So statistics on procrastination. 80% experience stress related to procrastination. 20% of people are chronic procrastinators. Okay. And I would directly blame social media for that. Having the gadgets in your hand is the direct contribution to it. No matter whether you're a school student or kids are also having the gadgets right now, and you're an adult taken for granted. And 95% of the people, they want to reduce their procrastination. You see, 20% are chronic procrastinators and 80% are stressed related to procrastination only. 100% is already covered. And then in that 100%, 95% want to reduce their procrastination. It is tricky and funny. Who needs to overcome this? Ideally, everybody, starting from students, professionals, parents, entrepreneurs. Imagine if you're an entrepreneur, you know, struggling with everyday dynamic market and customer needs and competition all the time. How you need to be agile and proactive, right? In order to take action. So you just cannot afford. Practically everybody needs to know this. So in professional life, in order to have, manage your project really well, you have to take immediate action. Stay ahead in your career because maybe you are in a high stake decision making where you just not only depend on you, there are people depend on you. And you have to abide with company rules and regulations, budgets, and client expectations too. And for job applications, you're going to act promptly, right? That is where your proactivity, problem solving, you know, especially that procrastination have to be conquered. You just cannot think and wait for the perfect interview to happen, perfect job opportunity to land in your lap. And skill development also, consistently working on improving your skills also. That you cannot procrastinate, right? Otherwise, knowledge is it can be drained unless it is, exercised every day. So your awareness can be there because it deals with your logic and emotion. Uh, you know, it comes with your experience or somebody's experience, and anybody's experience is truth. But knowledge is something you're acquiring that needs to be catered every day. Otherwise, it goes drained. Applying action in personal life, fitness goals. If you just procrastinate, we all know this. We all want to be fit, but we won't do that action. We all the time procrastinate on that. Only on January 1st, we'll be very agile. By January 20th, we'll go back to our loops, right? Learning new skills, we just spoke. And home organization also. Take small daily actions to declutter and organize your living space so that you don't have a pile up on it. Okay. Now it's the actionable strategies. Okay. This is more of a left brain. The first one is left brain. Now, with these actionable strategies, you can decipher whether it's left brain or right brain. The point is to take action to see which part of the brain is actually activated for you. And secondly, you're going to mix both the brain's activities also at the same time so that you will have a blend of making use of taking your left brain logic and your right brain emotions into consideration as a data point. So the first one is breaking tasks into smaller steps. I can't insist more on this. It's a classic left brain strategy we have been discussing from the beginning. It is helping in all the talents. So you're going to identify the task, clearly define the overall task that, or a project you need to complete on. And then you're going to list the subtasks in it. Okay. Breaking the main task into smaller and manageable tasks because you will have moving items. So you need to prioritize what is important, what is urgent, and what is needed, what is not needed also. You need to have strategies to discard what is not needed and concentrate on priority works. Prioritize again. So arrange that in order and importance, attach that importance and logical consequence sequence to it. Then taking action is feasible. If you don't do this, or maybe you can even work reverse, you have a bigger goal, just, work reverse, prioritize which one is important, which one is needed. And that in that complexity of priorities, you break it down further to understand what you can do right now, like long term, short term, medium, and day to day activities. Then it becomes manageable. Okay. But the point here is break the complexity into smaller chunk. The next one is 5-minute rule. Again, this is more of a right brain, but you can consider mid brain also. I'll tell you how. So first thing is you're going to set a timer. Okay. committing to work on anything just 5 minutes for now. The reason why it has become 5 minute rule is because that is the span of, that much is the span we are, making ourselves available for our brain to work on it or deep focus on anything. But if you can distinct certain things that within 5 minutes, if you can act on it, then you can progress. And within 5 minutes, you're not going to act on it. You will know clearly that it'll be a pile up. You can see that in your, daily day-to-day action if you can make this into a rule. So something you can even distinct is when those tasks you can prioritize that whether within 5 minutes can you make it happen or act on it. If you cannot, then it might need some more critical factors to it. It may not be important, it may not be urgent, but it is needed for you to plan ahead. So you're going to start with small and manageable part of this task, and you're going to build momentum. This is also important for procrastinator because they are like emotionally resistant towards taking action, right? You got to break it, and it is very complex in that kind of a person who's gone hardwired in their comfort zone. So you got to break that complexity. We just spoke how you break it. Second thing is 5 minute rule. If you can act within 5 minutes, then you are on the go. You're building the momentum only. So that 5 minute rule is, it's like a, what do you call, golden nugget. Okay, remember this. Then the next one is creating accountability. This is the best thing that we can do, and this is so very true with me. So when I had struggled, with setting up my digital business, one thing I had nobody to talk over here. It was during a few years back. I'm myself is pretty new into this Western side of the world, and me going out and talking about niche or my funnels and all that, uh, people couldn't relate. One, they may not be aware, and that is not their line of business also. Second thing is, they may not up to that speed of the journey into how I was. So there's always a lack of or the imbalance in understanding and supporting. On top of it, there is no there's lack of support all the time, so we got to be independent. Okay, now what I felt was, had I had somebody who's walking the same journey, it would have been easier for me to rely on them and then have a healthy competition. It so happens with my gym also. So when I fix my goal for weight loss, it is there. This this point of getting an accountability is really can be applied any part of the goals, any goals in your life. And it is so very true even when you're practicing your fitness. It'll be even more evident when you don't have a partner. Okay, not necessary that everybody needs, because there are so many people who are intrinsically motivation. For them, fitness is priority. So they don't look for support system. But for somebody who is juggling, and not everybody, it is a valuable asset when you're intrinsically motivated, but not all the time you can be self-motivated, especially juggling moms. So you need that kind of an external support also. So having that, gym partner or that any hobby that you're taking, having that accountability in the same line will definitely boost you. Okay. So where you're going to share the goals, tell somebody about your goals and intention, have them check in. So start arranging for regular check-ins and track your progress. They're not going to be responsible for your results, neither are you. But you're going to be tracking each other, motivating and moving forward, right? And then rewarding progress. I told you before itself, your left brain, while it is planning for you to come out of perfectionism, you need to act on it. And for which you need also rewarding, because the brain demands the gratification. Otherwise, it'll go back to its comfort zone. It'll just feel like, okay, there's no thrill, there's no excitement. So you need to set rewards. You're going to define small rewards for completing your task. You're going to celebrate milestones and self appreciation. That is the harder lesson that I got. Okay. Being in this part of the world and having known emotional intelligence, it the self love and self care was missing. So that was a very important nugget that I got in my journey. Although theoretically I knew that it is important, but I couldn't apply on it on a day-to-day basis. I just ignored my needs and wants and care. Because of that, because my child was very small, and then we had so many things going on in the family. We had to cater to it, and then we are so independent. We have to do everything on our own. It was more of others, and then it was a less of me. And then when it exploded, in fact, I got into burnout twice. So when it was going in an exhaustion mode is when I realized that I need to have time for myself to take care of my physical health, mental health, emotional health, especially this emotional health. While you are fit and hale and healthy, when you are bouncing back to work, okay, or when it is normal, but when the deadlines happens, when there is a crush in terms of time or proving yourself in any projects or initiatives, that is where you have to be emotionally well. You have to take care of your emotional well-being also, right? You just see it works both the ways, whether it is normal routine or not, or whether it is life intensities. It throws adversity after adversity that you need to take care of your emotions. Both the sides, emotional well-being is needed. So in essence, all dimensions, physical, mental, emotional, and productivity, and spiritual, of course, all these five dimensions are important. I always insist this: take it as a chair, a metaphor, as a chair with a five leg. You knock a one chair, any one dimensions in life. Let's say you don't care about emotional well-being, okay, because emotions is not just about you, it is also about people around you. So your relationship will come into effect. Maybe you're a successful business person, but you're not able to take care of your relationship at home. If it is chaotic, if your own self is chaotic, you have your own self belief, a negative belief coming in, it is going to be, it will not take you for a longer time, right? Somewhere the life teaches you. So it is equally important to acknowledge your own self, because not every day, every time it is possible to have external support. So it is important to have that self appreciation also, self acknowledgement. So that is essentially what we will talk in my community, where we enable women. In fact, I'll attach that link here. If you have seen my previous episodes, we spoke about Diwali offer, where that's still available. I can extend that offer to you. That means resilience building in physical, emotional, mental, productivity, health of a woman. So how they can, take care of their physical resilience, what are the tasks involved in it, how can they take care of their emotional resilience, what are the daily tasks involved in it, and then accordingly all dimensions of life will be worked out in just 21 days. By the end of 21 days, you have actually gotten into a habit, and from there on it becomes a natural habit for you to take care of those four dimensions every day. So I'll be able to support you, monitor your progress, motivate you, and make sure you get into the progress and momentum. And after that, you become unstoppable. Okay. So there's a program called Resilience Building for Busy Moms. It's 21 days program. The link will be given. I'll tell you how to get that free access to that, because it will be for a cost now, but I'll tell you how you can get the free access. Just hang on. I'll let you know till if you just stay till the episode, you will end, you will know. Now, next one is visualization techniques. This is totally right brain. Although we are beating up ourselves in the heat of the run, we know we have to take action because we are competing each other, we have to upgrade and all that. But then there is still a resistance, right? You need to give some thrill for your brain. That thrill can happen in different ways. Okay. Another one powerful way is visualization. What if you imagine you are already there in that goal, achieved goal? So that is giving you a wow factor for your brain. That will give you that curiosity. What if I touch that and come? Sitting here, I have to touch that, which means what? I have to move. So it will enable you to move. So that powerful it is. So what you're going to do is mental rehearsal. Imagine yourself successfully completing the task step by step, and positive outcome. Think about positive outcome. Visualize the positive results and feelings of accomplishing your goal. And then you will be able to overcome the obstacles by picturizing yourself confidently overcoming these potential challenges. Classic example is to have a vision board, right? By breaking down the complexity, okay? By going beyond your imagination, by fixing a vision for your life. And then action items. So now you know you have a vision, like where you want to go, how you want to take your family, and what kind of vacations you guys want to enjoy, and where do you want to see yourself when you are at 40 years, 50 years. Suppose you're starting from school, how do you want to see yourself in the 12th grade? Or when you want to become a career professional, where do you want to see yourself landing in? So if you can imagine and put yourself out there, in picture format or words, and then paste it in the near sight of yours. Like, you, by the time you walk past that day in and day out, you would be able to see that. So it becomes an instilled part of you, and then it is going to easy for you to keep yourself motivated day in and day out. If you look at that thing, and by the way, you're doing everything intentionally, not because of somebody is saying you're creating a vision board and you're losing the track of it. I still remember, I think 2021 or something, I took up this vision board activity, and I broken down the vision board activity also. Although I had various dimensions of life covered in the vision board, I also remembered picking up one word for the year. And I stuck that as a bigger letter in my bathroom, on the hallway, wherever, and especially in the kitchen, wherever I get to see that oftentimes. So that one word stuck with me, and that word is discipline. The entire year, I was only working on my discipline. And the outcome of me doing all this series consistently, I'm so proud. And at the same time, I'm very humble to say that any initiatives, any commitment that I want to take for 21 days, 90 days, or 100 days, I'm able to do it effortlessly, magically, not with any pride and power, but effortlessly, because I've set that momentum. I've tuned my brain, right? That happens only with the discipline. So you need to work on it. So when you're disciplined, there's no procrastination. You will naturally align to it. Okay. These are very important that you need to visualize. And these are very small hacks. Okay. Visualization gives you that expansion of mindset. That itself is a motivation for a procrastinator. Okay. It will push you to take action. That's a right brain activity. And then removing distractions, totally logical. You have to deduce your transactions. You need to have a dedicated workspace. Create a dedicated workspace for you. If you're at office, anyway, it is the cubicle is made for you, and you know your desktop policy and all those tabletop policy and all that. So you have your own space. Similarly, if you're working from home, it is very important to have that space created for you. The next big thing is digital detox. You need to be minimalist when it comes to digital technology utility. You need to have only minimum apps in your phone, whatever is needed, important, urgent, and most essential. So that notification, you just put off all the notification. Maybe you can have your apps, but then don't get into the notification reminders. So that is a killer. Whenever you want to focus, especially when we did a productivity series, we spoke about deep focus. On that, we dwelled on more than many strategies about how do you enable deep focus format. We had a book review of so many things, so many books related to productivity. In that, you know, it is said that the moment one notification comes, you are disturbed for 25 minutes. With one notification, with one distraction, your mind takes you off from the radar for 25 minutes as an average and research study. It takes 25 minutes for a normal person to come back to their work. Imagine how many notifications, how many distractions are happening continuously. So it is humanly not possible for us to focus, even if the intention is very strong. So your environment, including your mobile, how you set it up is very important, and detox yourself. Digital detox. In fact, I would add another layer. You also detox from people, process, and people and application. Sometimes even events, situations, you wouldn't need to be there at all parties. It's not needed. So if a person is very clear at their goal, their priorities are very clear, the value systems is very clear in them, they will have a high prioritization. So for them, it is untold, and it is by nature. It's very important to have that courage to say no. Set your boundaries very clear. The more you say no, it is not being unkind to people, but it is only bringing your focus back to your priorities. Once you're tuned, then you can embrace a lot of other responsibilities. Okay. Until such time, you can be kind enough to tell them no and not burning your bridges. All right. And then time blocking, we just spoke specific time for focused, work, and then stick to them. The 5-minute rule is important for that. Now it is an interesting part. We pick up a very famous, relatable personality, whoever is successful in this particular talent. Now you all know Virat Kohli. who is a captain for our Indian cricket team, um, one days. And then he's also a great player in synonymous to great qualities. Okay. He is considered one of the legacy cricket players. Now, with this person, what's more admirable is the rigor that he has got, the amount of persistence that he has got for this game. You see, Indian cricket or in any cricket for that matter is a highly intensive and highly temperamental game. You need to, we also spoke about another personality, Indian former captain who, you know, won the World Cup for India. So all these personality, all these players out there in the field trying to prove their capacities, win over their competition, and bring glory to the nation. They are not just doing, quarterly job or whenever the match comes, they are not playing. They are day in and day out, they are working on themselves. So this person, when we talk about procrastination, he once admitted that procrastinating on his fitness regime had cost him a lot. So after that, he became very persistent and very consistent in his regime. By the look of these people, you will know that they are fit, not because they are doing a monthly activities, day in and day out. For all those athletics, whether they are champion or Olympic, all those are playing in the field, they are very careful about their regime. And that endurance, that persistence is what is making them upbeat in the game. Okay. That can only happen if they come out of their comfort zone. No athlete are bound to be procrastinating. That means they are not in the game at all. You can be sitting in your couch watching the game, but not playing the game in the field. So I thought this will be the classic example to break your resistance. If you can, if you have any of your favorite personality, a gameplay, a sports personality, I don't think you will be a procrastinator. At least you will, when you mentally admire these people, their qualities, that something, some residue will stay in you and you will get inspired to take action. And that is why my case studies reminds very realistic examples, right? And then the result becoming the turning point for him is committing to take action on his fitness, transforming his routine. The result is he's become one of the finest athletes, driving long-standing success in cricket. Okay, he has so many glories. I'm not getting into that picture right now, but all of us know Virat Kohli. In case you don't, you may want to Google search. Is one of the uh, progressive and regressive player out there in the Indian cricket team. Okay. Now, what is the impact of taking action? Emotional impact. You're going to get satisfaction, right? Taking action is going to lead you to feel that sense of accomplishment and happiness. It is going to boost your confidence, high esteem, and belief in your abilities. And it will inspire others, inspiration for others also. Your action can motivate and inspire people around you, right? So tell me, after looking at this case study, there could still be some blocks, right? Because procrastination is not something which is gotten at the overnight. A person who's procrastinating had been hardwiring themselves for a long period of time. For them to overcome that, it takes time. So let's dwell after knowing these case studies that it is realistic that people out there are able to do mistakes and be able to bounce back. Now it is time for us to look at this in a different angle. So the first block could be overcoming the fear of failure. Okay, a person who's procrastinating, let's have some more compassion towards them to understand what makes them that procrastinator in a deeper level. One, maybe that person is not able to come out of the fear of failure. We did see this in a bit, right, in the initial stage, that they are not, with their own failure experiences, they are doomed out. They are fear, they have that insecurity. So, what you have to do is reframe that failure. So, you're going to tell yourself, if you are in that position, view failures as learning opportunities rather than personal shortcomings. It is not defining you as a person. It is only defining your action over there. That action can always be rectified. You're going to start small, begin with low risk task to build your capacity, confidence. and then gradually you can pick it up. That is why this 21 days challenge is for you to gradually move. Okay. And then you're going to celebrate. And at the end of 21 days, we will be celebrating a closure ceremony. We will be rewarding those people who became winner. The link in the description will tell you how did other moms who had gone through this program enjoyed, how they were before, during, and after. Okay. It is out there as a link. Go through that. If you're still interested, just hang on. I'll tell you how you can take that access 100% free. Okay. Now, next one is building a supportive environment. Do this and see. Surround yourself, connect with action oriented individuals, not the ones who are potato couch potato, because they are going to instill the same values in you. When you look at them being lazy around, you will also, because environment is stronger than your willpower. Even though you are determined, when your environment is chaotic and pulling you down, you will eventually fall down. It is important to surround yourself with that kind of mindset people who are proactive, who are action takers. You're going to optimize your space, create that physical environment that encourages productivity and focus. Now, physical environment is having people going to office. There should be some movement around you, not something which dulls you, which stagnates you. Continuous learning also should happen. Engage with resources that reinforces action-taking habits. Now, the physical environment could be your habits, physical habits also. That's why in 21 days, we will cover both physical and we will continue the physical component right through 21 days. Because unless unless you move from one place to another, progress is not going to happen. So all the five elements of nature should work for you, right? Even sun will help you move in life. Taking sun is like energy. This part of the world right now, we are, um, experiencing the colder times. It is very essential to take sun wherever it is available, or at least move your body so that circulation happens. Then taking wind, taking air, and taking that, sun itself is fire. When you don't have that solar plexus activated, then you won't move. So it is important to go for a gym, indoor gym, or go for a run, cycle. In case you're not able to walk, go for swimming. So swimming definitely, what happens in swimming, you just cannot droop down, right? Classic example. If somebody is procrastinating or having some physical ailment, best is swimming. If you cannot, your knees are aching, if you cannot cycle, if you don't have resources, swim. Okay. All right. Now is the okay, another mindset that you should have is developing that growth mindset, embracing challenges, viewing difficulties as part of growth and learning. You're going to learn from criticism, from your own failures. You be your best critic. You don't have to listen to others. Suppose you have other people criticizing you, learn from it. Okay. So learn to put your feedback also constructively and tell them to share the constructive feedback. If they are not, then you just have to delete them from your transactions because they're not successful people. Growth mindset people will always like to grow themselves and also help to grow others and persist through setbacks whenever you fail, because coming out of procrastination is not going to happen overnight. You will be, stagnating, you will be pulled back by your own failures. But again, when you can reframe your own failures, then it will become an opportunity for you to learn how not to fail. Thomas Alva Edison, when the entire garage, there were so many times the garage got fired, and then so many inventions that he had to lose. And then his son is asking, Dad, so many things have happened. How do you want to see this? And then he said, I'm not a failure. I just learned 10,000 different ways how not to fail. So that is the inspiration. Okay. Maintaining long-term motivation also. So when you visualize, right, you're taking a vision, not for now. You're expanding yourself to see 40 years, 50 years down the lane. Sometimes even people go beyond to see themselves in the coffin. Right? How do they want other people to hear about them, talk about them? So that much of expansion has to happen. That only can happen when you have this long-term goals, because that only can motivate you. Because setting meaningful goals is the key there. If you can align your actions, values, align your actions with personal values and long-term vision, then it is naturally motivating. Suppose you're a person who are doing work constantly, going to a work, continuously the same place, same modality, same day, everything seems to be same for you, the brain is not excited. And for you to, not all the time you get into excited goals, right? How is it possible to do the mundane activity with excitement? You need to have aligned that with your personal values. If you're doing it for others and you're not excited about it, you won't continue to do. You will be a procrastinator. Maybe you want to check your value determination there. Okay. In my community, I'll help you. The very first step that I will help you is to identify your core values and then align your, goals using your brain talents. So the very first step we'll do is to find your core values and your brain styles. With this, there's no looking back. You're set with your goals, and self-motivation can kick in without any, effort. And sometimes accountability will also come into picture. I mean, that's the, next level to grow. So I'll be more than happy to have you in my community in case you are interested. I'll also give you my one-to-one, free link there. 30 minutes, if you can come, I'll explain to you what is there. And also give you an invite for my masterclass. Just in a bit, you can also learn more about all these modalities over there. You're going to track your progress, regularly review and celebrate your achievements, no matter how small, and adjust the strategies. That only then you will know that you're progressing. Now you may have a question of where do you stand and how do you want to improve, for which I have a tool. You may have a question as to how are you able to manage your task? How do you have this, time management skills? Where are you prioritizing? What could be your core values? And what is that accountability support that you're expecting? And where do you stand now? Where do you want to go? If these are the questions that is, pressing in you, I have a tool for you called awareness quiz bundles. Okay. I have this for a cost in my public website. But for those people who are listening to me, very sincere listeners to my episodes, I would want you to share top 3 insights that you learned in this episode. I'm going to give you a free coupon code, 100% free coupon code for you to access this awareness quiz bundles. It is going to give you a quiz for each and every talent, each and every topic we will be talking. Now, imagine for 100 topics, we would be touching upon at least 30, 40 talents. For all those talents, you will find a quiz, which will tell you where do you stand and where do you have to go. There'll be a scores attached to it. It'll be personally sent to your email ID, which you are registering. Apart from that, you will also get some tips for each and every headline. So there you go. In one quiz, you can understand the assess your current status and also learn where do you want to go with or using all those tips and strategies given there. Okay. If it excites you, all you have to do is put your learnings out there in this episode as comments. I will pick you as winner and email you your free coupon code. And also giving you an invite for my EQ Brain Skills Masterclass, where if you are looking to deeper and going wider on any particular skill or talent, and also want to fast track, you don't have time to wait for the 100 topics, it's totally okay. There will be a masterclass done for women, exclusively women, and I will be teaching you how you can fast track by using your own brain styles. In that class, I will tell you how you can approach, access your brain styles. There'll be a one-pager report, AI-driven, globally accepted. You just cannot fluff around that report because AI will pick up your cues. So the AI will give you that one-pager report. And it is a psychometric report which is globally accepted, which means it had been researched and done upon many other people and accepted. So that one-pager report will give you 18 top talents in you, whatever is top 6 and whatever is the area of improvement. With that, you can set your goals and start working on your skills, whatever is available in your power. And those are the area of improvement where we will learn how to approach the other ones using your own power and strength. It'll be really fun and interesting to learn emotional intelligence this way. But all you have to do is put your insights and also access the link given here, register your email ID, and it'll be notified and reminded to you whenever it is going to occur. Okay? With this, what I only wanted to tell you is emotional intelligence is not something out there in the sky. It is very much within us. And for you to move from procrastination to action takes time. So don't beat yourself up there. Be more patient. Work on yourself consistently. Whatever you have learned today, practice that in 24 hours time and see that you're progressing, because we don't want to get into the perfection mode at all, because being perfect is a killer for procrastination. I mean, for action taker. So if you want to be on the other side of action taking, you have to remember this, that it is a gradual progress. Okay. But for you to be in this game, please stick with this 100 days series, which is coming on to you free of cost. Just stay with learning in a fun and interactive way. Um, what more? The more you are dwelling on this talents day in and day out, by the time you finish your 100 days, you are not only having the tools for you would have assessed your current talents, you will also get your report when you attend your masterclass. I'll tell you how to access that report. And top of it, there are free resources coming as a podcast in Spotify. Subscribe to my Spotify, subscribe to my YouTube channel if you're watching here, and also subscribe to my Substack articles, which is coming as a storyfied format. All are offered to you to make sure that you're emotionally intelligent. Okay. If you're in this journey with me, give me your insights and also tell me how it is helping you. So that'll be a boost and inspiration for me to move forward. So tomorrow I'll see you with mostly the same procrastination, topic, but how to overcome that using a talent. Okay. Until that time, be resilient and be emotionally driven using these insights given in the previous episodes and also today's episodes.